Good day, everyone. I'm calling to have people call your reps, senators, and any other official out there to oppose H.R. 5717. I will go over what the basics of the bill are. It's a very dangerous anti gun control bill. And what this bill will do is ban private or build 80% builds from being built at home, 30% tax raise on guns, 50% on ammo, bans on magazines that hold more than 10 rounds, bans on what they call assault rifles, aka your semi-automatic ARs or AKs, um, institute a federal red flag law, expand your gun-free zones, bans on suppressors, and so much more. So I'll go over into what each one is. So right now, let's start with gun-free zones. So businesses, uh, churches, um, government buildings and schools will post a sign with a gun with a line through it, meaning no guns allowed, which will welcome killers to come in and do what they want because they know people aren't armed. They're going to expand that to include public or private schools and schools that are built within churches. So if you go to let's say a Catholic church and there's a Catholic school that's part of that church, it's now a gun-free zone on a federal level. They wanna rate so it's gonna reach more places like that. 80% lowers or lowers that are almost built, you can finish it, you don't have to do a background check for that. As from what I'm understanding, 80% lowers are home builds, I believe. What they wanna do with that is take it where you can't even build an 80% lower at home unless you get a serial number and do a background check for it so they can keep track of it. Um, Suppressor bans, they wanna ban you from having a suppressor because they think it will silence your gun. It reduces sound, but you can still hear it. So if you have an AR-15 with a threaded barrel or a pistol like an FN-57 with a threaded barrel, you can for the attachment of a sound suppressor, it helps with your hearing. They want to take that away because they deem if you have a suppressor, you will be some type of assassin who will shoot and nobody can hear the shot, which is false. You can hear the shot with a suppressor. It just reduces the sound to where it's not a huge bang. Raising taxes on your guns and ammo is taxation without representation, which is theft. um, Background checks are another thing. They want to do universal background checks. So now, under current law, if you buy from an FFL, you have to do what's called a 4473. Fill out the paperwork, it gets called into NICS. They run your name, your address, and everything to see if you're prohibited or not. Now they want to do universal background checks, which is basically all sales will be done through an FFL. You will have to register your guns, which will mean they know what you have and they want to keep track of it at all times. So, for example, what they call the gun show loophole is made up term. The loophole there is where a private individual like myself, if I sold another private individual at that gun show a gun, I'm not obligated to run his background. So what they deem the loophole there, they get mixed up is they think anyone can just sell a gun without a background check there. False. You have to do a background check if you buy from a dealer at a gun show. Um, Reporting of prohibited buys. So let's say somebody buys a gun who's prohibited, but they don't know. The government would like to have that. Why? Nobody knows. Um, red flag laws. Now, right now, under a red flag law, which is unconstitutional, by the way, somebody can go to a judge, petition that judge to say this or get the judge to believe that that person's a danger to themselves or others without them knowing. Cops show up, take it. That violates due process, your Fourth Amendment, your Second Amendment, and even in the First Amendment. Because if you post something that somebody's offended by, they can just deem you crazy and dangerous. We've already had two cases, both in Maryland. The most recent one just happened a couple weeks ago, where a guy who was in school to be an engineer was prohibited from owning a gun, from what the sources say, saying he had guns. The cops showed up at his house, a SWAT team. They shot through, killed him. Now, from what the sources say, he did answer. He did have a gun in his hand when he opened up. Others say he was asleep, but nobody really knows the whole situation there. But either way, it was an illegal search without due process, violating his Fourth Amendment, his First Amendment, and even his Second, depending what the situation was. Shot through, killed him, injured his girlfriend. And then just a couple years ago, Gary Willis, a guy from Maryland who had a disagreement with his sister. She said called the cops, said he had a gun and that he was a danger to himself and others. They showed up at 5:17 in the morning. He entered with a gun. When the cops said they're there to take his guns, a fight ensued and was shot and killed after his gun went off by accident. And then his sister came out and said, "Oh, he was no danger. So why isn't she in jail for that?" Okay, but getting back on. Um, so now they want to make the red flag laws, instead of it being at a state level, they want to make it federal level, meaning all the states will have to adopt it. Um, those with restraining orders, if they violate a restraining order, they lose their gun rights. But to me, this can go many ways. For example, let's say you're out walking and, you don't expect to run into the person that has the restraining order against you. You're just walking maybe in a different neighborhood. You run into them, they could probably go to the police and said, "Yeah, he violated the restraining order by following me to my friend's house when he had no idea." Boom. His That person's gun rights are gone, or her gun rights are gone. Or if you're now I don't know if being at a shopping center, a mall, or a restaurant would count, but it could also be in a way like that very dangerous. How they use the interpretation to say they violated a restraining order. In reality, they probably didn't know and just were walking. Maybe they went to see somebody else in that neighborhood and you just happened to be there in that same neighborhood. But why now are they using this um, bill to try to get it passed? Well, right now the world is in kind of a small chaos with the whole coronavirus going around. Now, from what I understood, yes, the virus is 100% real and it's dangerous. But why are they doing it now? They know people are are too scared to do anything. And they're afraid of the virus. Well, with that, they can probably try to sneak some stuff through without much opposition. I know this virus is 100% real and dangerous, and that people should be precautious about this stuff. So I'm not trying to sound like it's not dangerous, which it is, but they're introducing this bill now as a means maybe to get it passed as a distraction because they know no one's not really paying attention, but people are paying attention. There's videos out on HR 5717. People have been calling, emailing, and writing letters to their reps, letting them know they oppose it. But much of right now, with this bill being a very dangerous anti gun bill out there, there's a lot of people who've made it. Military Arms Channel has made a video. 2A EDU made one I'm watching right now. Daily's 2A News. And I believe Guns and Gadgets has one out, and Kuda Boy 32 Tactical has one out. So, oh, and Iraq veteran 8888 made a gun gripe on the whole situation. So, the way this bill is going, this is not just an anti-gun bill. This is going to attack not just semi-automatic ARs and AKs, as they said in the past. This is going after any semi-automatic now. It could be an SKS, an M1 Garand, even a couple, even guns like Tokarevs and the Ruby pistols. Even though they hold 10 or less, they're semi-automatic. The dangers of this bill are going to be far wide and could just go after anything. I I urge you all out there to call your state reps, senators, both federal and state local, and tell them to oppose it. Take care and have a great day, everyone.